Okay, hello and welcome to IRL FP here for round 3 at Britain for season 10. Once again, just like last week, I'm joined by Cameron Young.
Hello.
And similarly to last week, of course, plenty of overtaking opportunities, it has to be said, going through the... well, I think, yeah, turn 1 should be flat, I think, right? Or am I...
Yeah, turn 1 should
Okay, yeah.
it should easily be flat.
Okay, I wasn't sure. So, yeah, through the flat turns 1 and 2 into turn 3, certainly an overtaking opportunity. And also, right down here is we see a Haas get a bit of slipstream from maybe his teammate in the Red Bull. I'm not completely sure. That's Tom Jewell getting a bit of slipstream. I think that was off Paco Suarez. So we'll try and find... Well, I guess we'll actually just go on board with Tom Jewell for now, as he gets a bit of slipstream again from the Renault just in front, as he gets out of the way. I'm not sure which Renault that is, as pretty much everyone is out on track right now, apart from, well, no, Ollie's out now, so it's just Luke in the pits. Everyone else at least on an out lap, as Tom goes through Maggots and Beckett's now to finish sector 2, which will be a 1.3.2. I'm honestly not sure if that's good or not, but he'll be continuing on. He'll be one of the first ones to set a lap anyway. Lewis Curtis, the very first one in the Alfa Romeo, was a 26.2, and the other Alfa Romeo goes to 26.8. Jared splitting them with the 26.3, and then there's Rocco Walsh in the Red Bull expected with the 24.9, and Tom Jewell is going to set a 26.9, so 2 seconds off. They're actually off the pole, almost exactly. So, yeah, of course, the Haas certainly is going to help out. Rocco Walsh really the favourite today, you can say.
Yeah, well, he should be up there, no doubt. I think Nino should also be up there, maybe Bran, and yeah, I think definitely Joe Hollis should be up there, as he's in a Merc. Currently on board with Matthew, he's in the... he's just gone through Stowe, so... coming into the last couple of corners, as Joe was pulled by 3 tenths of a minute. Matthew coming up to the line. Oh, it's quite a slow start for Matthew. 25.9. I think he can definitely go a lot quicker than that, but 5th at the minute, not bad for him.
Yeah, certainly. Of course, the Williams as well is going to hold him back a little bit. I mean, to what extent though? When it is Matthew Alder, he can do pretty much anything in any car you throw him in, but it is going to be a little bit of a hindrance, you have to say. Probably not going to be going for pole today. Of course, he almost got pole in Alpha in Australia, so then again, you never know. But with Rocco in a Red Bull, Joe in a Merc, it's probably going to be like a top 5 for him, really, realistically.
Yeah.
As now most people going in the pits, I do see Erminator on an in-lap, actually, it looks like.
Yeah,
Timber Staden is also on an in-lap. Ollie Favell is actually on a lap, going through Beckett's right now, as yellow flags up ahead for a Haas. It looks like the Haas has lost fuel near the end of his out lap. I mean, Ollie's going to take a little bit of slipstream anyway, as actually maybe they were teammates, because actually they are. That must have been Tom Jewell there then. So, actually planned slipstream rather than Tom running out of fuel. But going into the final chicane, you can say, we'll see how Ollie can do. Of course, a Ferrari should be good enough for, like, it is a midfield car. We'll see where Ollie will go, which is P7 with a 25.9. Seeing actually the second 25.9 just behind Matthew Alder.
Yeah. Well, other than, obviously, I'd say Rocco and Joe looks to be very close, actually. Obviously, I think people can definitely improve. People like Paco, well, Paco is on the mediums, so yeah, Paco, Jared, I think there's a lot of improvement. So other than maybe the front two, which should run away with it, I think the field will be very close today.
Yeah, I do have to agree with you there. Of course, it usually tends to be quite close at the top anyway. Being FP, the quicker guys usually end up with the slower cars, and I do mean usually, because Rocco Walsh is in a Red Bull today, but not a great first 2 races will put you in a good car, no matter what your pace, really. You can't always guarantee to be top of the championship, but eventually it'll kind of sort itself out. Of course, Rocco Walsh kind of led most of the championship last season, got Williams a few more times than I think he would have liked, certainly, so I'm sure he's not too unhappy having a Red Bull for a change this season, as he was probably getting sick of the Williams really by the end of last season, getting it so many times.
Yeah, I think he had like a Williams, like I think what it might have been like 5 races in a row, something like that. Which was crazy. I could imagine he'd gone insane. But this season, I think he's turned off the line, so he's a bit out of his comfort zone. But I think he's starting to get to grips with it. And obviously, even though he's in a Red Bull, I think it will probably be shown today that he's starting to get to grips with what's actually going on there.
Okay, that's who it was, Louis Quinlan, who was kind of leading the train, so we'll go on board with him to see what lap. Oh, he was actually finishing a lap, my bad then, 25.5 for Louis Quinlan in the racing points, so not a bad lap from him. We'll try and find someone who is on a lap. Certainly Lewis Curtis is, as the AlphaTauri coming out of the pits. Luckily for him, doesn't hinder him at all as he comes through turn 5 onto the first back straight here. Opening up DRS. Of course, Lewis Curtis is someone you would expect to be at the front. He is usually very good at quality as well, so don't count him out to be up there probably with the top 5. You never know, of course, as there's a little bit of traffic up ahead, it seems. I'm sure he's not going to be liking it. I think they're both on laps as well. A Renault, maybe of... Actually, no, Sundry's in a McLaren, I think, is he?
Brand's on an out
Can't
lap,
actually tell.
yeah, I think Louis Quinlan's on an out lap as no, actually he's on an in lap, so traffic shouldn't really be an issue for Lewis.
Yeah, regardless, he is actually apparently purple in the second sector, so could be looking at a good lap. Of course, the second sector does have Maggots and Beckett's, so skill does kind of help you out a little bit more, so maybe that's kind of expected for him to at least be quick in the second sector, but we'll see now where he's going to place himself. Currently 11th, and he's actually only going to go up one place up to 10th with a 26.1, just actually ahead of Paco, only barely improved to position.
Yeah, and I didn't realise that Rocco is back on pole. Not his best lap, but yeah, there's going to be a big pole fight between him and Joe Hollis. A lot of people on laps right now. I think Sondre's just started a lap actually.
Well, then we'll go on board with Sondre if you want to take him as well, Carmen.
Yeah, well, it's not the best of exits, but coming on into the straight, I mean, I haven't really seen the start of his lap, but well, he's only marginally down, so a little lock up. At the minute, he's doing good. Nice line through Luffield, and yeah, I don't know if it's traffic up ahead, but it seems to be quite far away now. Cops, yeah, easy flat out. For Sondre in the McLaren. Maggots. Beckett's taken nicely by Sondre into Chapel. Bit wide, yeah, a little bit on the grass, but that's not going to hinder him. Oh, he's nearly 2 tenths up. Going to be a good lap from Sondre if he can manage to not invalidate. Or a bit of a lock up, maybe traffic distracting him a bit. Into the last sort of chicane. I think Vivesian starting a lap. No, he's actually going to finish one. Oh, massive slide, yeah. Bottle Haug at it again.
Yeah, and he was on for an improvement as well. He was P4 before, so an improvement certainly would have put him at least in the top 3, as he's only barely slower than Thomas MacGyver right now. So yeah, that's certainly a bottle from Sondre.
It's a big shame. He was up like nearly 2 tenths. I'd imagine there's still time in that lap, but obviously him having messed up that lap, it means that he's got to nail his last one. and Joe Hollis goes pole with a .4. Kind of expected, but yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Just had to decline a call there. Not sure if the stream heard it, but if it didn't, then it's fine. We'll see. Of course, yeah, Joe Hollis did indeed take back the pole position, just about a tenth and a half, I would say, ahead of Rocco Walsh, but I'm sure Rocco has something up his sleeve. Of course, he's in the second quickest car, so, and he certainly has the skill advantage, there's no doubt about that. So yeah, I'm sure he'll be able to come back to be at least close to Joe, maybe beat him, you never know. But it is really looking between them, as they are for 8 tenths, 8 to almost a second quicker than everyone else, really. So
I think, yeah, sort of timing in the pit lane is a bit weird because there's still time left to go, but yeah, a bit strange. Is there anyone
has the timer stopped for you? Like, it's saying the end, or?
No, no, I'm just Vesia's retired, but like I'm pretty sure he still has one more run. Well, he would have had one more run anyway, so I think it's a bit weird retiring now. But hey, that's his opinion. He thinks it's time to retire.
Yeah, Louis Quinlan's going to be finishing his lap now, and he improves to a 25.2, but not able to get into 24s though. Only 2 people, of course, getting into the 24s, which of course is still Joe and Rocco. Everyone else kind of setting low to mid, really, 25s. So you can see the difference.
As I said, I think if the grid, well, if those 2 weren't in, then I think the grid would be extremely close, which obviously would be very good, but nonetheless the grid is close anyway, other than those 2, so I mean we maybe are expecting to see those 2 run away with it in a race, but
yeah, I have picked up Lewis Wassman on a lap, currently on a 26.9. He's apparently 3 tenths up on his lap, so he should be looking at a decent improvement, especially in position. So he's going to come through the final few corners, of course. We'll see how well he'll do. Almost in violation, it seemed there, but he has it under control. He's going to come across the line. A small improvement, but a good one, I'd say, especially being in the Williams, and it puts him 14th place at 26.4.
Yeah, I think, well, it's starting to get to happy hour now. Everyone either out or still in the pits, ready for their last runs. I think actually Lewis Curtis just started the lap, so
I will go on board with him if you want to take him.
Yeah. So, well, once again, we've picked him up and, massive slide, just like Sonbreak. Let's hope that hasn't hindered Lewis too much. Oh wow, he's 1.5 times up, that's a big improvement. Nice tight line into... you know what, I won't say anything. But so far from this, it's been a very, very nice lap. Yeah, lovely, does it as through Cops, flat out once again, scrapping a bit of speed off the curb, that doesn't matter. Through Maggots, Beckett's, very nice, through Chapel, very nice from Lewis. Bit white, I think he's lost a bit of time, but still gonna improve to possibly 25, which should put him inside top 10. Very nice through Stowe into the final chicane. Not taking as much of an aggressive line as Lewis Vossman. Nice on the exit, up to the line. It's 25.953. Just puts him inside top 10.
As, Lewis Wassman retiring there, so it seems he's pretty much done for today. He won't be improving anymore. I think Shane Collier is... Oh, well, actually, he's 8 tenths down, so maybe not. Jared Fosbury... Well, he can't be. He hasn't finished Sector 1 yet game, so he can't be 3 tenths up yet. I don't know what you're talking about. But he is going to be coming through what is turn 5, flat out corner. Of course, a few people struggling going into there off the exit of turn 4 can be tricky, of course, as we've seen Lewis Curtis, and I think it was one of the Ferraris that we picked up earlier, maybe, who had made the mistake. So certainly a mistake maybe we might want to look out for, because onto the straight is certainly going to affect you. But now into the flat out turn 9 of cups, and he's taken that quite well. Now into Maggots and Beckett's flat out for the first part, and then you're going to go down to 6th and 5th, and then a nice exit through onto Chapel and the final straight, the hanger straight. Going into now Stowe, it's very tricky corner. You want to make sure not to go out too wide, but you want to really extend as much as you can, use the track as much as you can to gain as much time as possible. Now going through the final chicane, we'll see how much he's going to be improving. He's currently 12th, and actually it's a small improvement, but only just, and he stays 12th for now. So we're going to try and find someone who may be a little bit more up there for sure. It looks like Rocco Walsh and Joe Hollis both finished their laps. Joe Hollis improving to a 0.4, but he wasn't able to, or maybe it was Rocco Walsh who improved to a 0.4 actually. I might be mistaken there. But Matthew Alder is going to be coming through, as there's a Red Bull that spun around there. I guess that was Paco Suarez. But Matthew Alder finishes up. He's not able to improve on 9th. Brandon Glover actually jumps up to P4. It's a 25.2. So a very nice lap from Brandon Glover, it seems. Tim Brustadens is into the pits, and of course Paco Suarez was one of the ones who spun round. So that is going to be your grid then. Rocco Walsh is going to get pole, and Joe Hollis, of course, the two we expected to go for pole, of course, very close together.
Yeah, well, I mean, as we said from the start, I think it's just going to be, between those two, it's going to be a runaway race for those two. But, yeah, I mean, Sondre's not done a bad job, and then Brand, Sondre, very good lap, same as Louis. Nino's not done a bad job, and yeah, I think Lewis has been a bit caught out, but that's his loss. Yeah,
and we'll keep going down then. That's Thomas MacGyver in 7th, followed by Ollie, Matthew and Lewis to round up the top 10, and then Erminator, Jared, Tim, Paco, Shane, Lewis, Adrian, Tom, Luke and Vezier. I think I got all that just
yes,
before we go through. So that is the grid for round 3 today, and of course the two starting in the front row would be the two you're expecting to take the top 2 spots, or at least that would be the expectation, but you never know. Of course, crashes do happen, spins do happen, as we've seen Paco, of course. He went round in the final corner, unfortunately for him. I guess it would have affected his final run, so who knows where he could have been in the Red Bull. Of course, Red Bull, very quick car, of course, the other one on pole position today. So yeah, anything can happen today, and maybe we'll see a crash between the two, maybe a really close fight to the end after that. You never know.
I mean, maybe a crash would bring a lot of drama in, because then that opens up the field quite widely, as I think there's at least 6 or 7 drivers all within a tenth of each other, or could be within a tenth of each other. So not that I want them to crash, but maybe a crash would be good for the rest of the grid.
Yeah, certainly could be, as they prepare to go away for the formation lap. Of course, Rocco Walsh leading away the fields. Would be expecting him to do it to the end, but you never know. Of course, Joe was only about, I think it was 800ths in the end away from his lap, so that could have been an easily one corner. I mean, one mistake from Rocco Walsh, he could have lost it, so it is small margins that we're playing with today. So we'll get the formation up, because we are on the formation lap. So who would you be looking at for the top 3 then, Cameron?
Ooh, it's an interesting one. I think last week I tried to spice things up and it clearly just went away from me. So
Yeah, he had
I think this
Sundre
week.
for the win last week. He's starting third today, though.
Well, I was going to put Sondra up there, but considering the pace gap between the top two, I think it's a bit out of the question. So I think I'm going to go for Rocco first, Joe second, and I'm going to go for Bran third. What's your top three?
I wouldn't disagree with yours. I almost went for it, but then I kind of considered the GOAT that is Matthew Alder, and I'm going to go the same, but Matthew in third. Maybe Brand fourth.
Okay. That's oh, Thomas has gone wide. Yeah, nice line. I think that's the me line. I think Matthew's got a lot of work to do. But yeah, I think Sondre, as we saw, can definitely. He's not opposed to being the bottle, so hopefully for Sondre, he doesn't bottle. But I wouldn't put out a question.
Yeah, before we start though, interestingly, Jared and Adrian Villarreal both going for the softs outside of the top 10. Certainly not a bad thing, really. It is, the softs do go quite long, and it is a soft medium or medium soft, but you would be thinking you'd want to be quicker at the end.
Yeah, maybe they're expecting an early safety car, or well, maybe they just think they've got a bit more pace than a few of the other guys in the top 10, so they want to start us off. But it is a bit of a strange one, because normally the reverse is quite strong on him, especially when the softs are very strong at the end.
As they now line up, it looks like everyone is ready. So we will await the 500 lights. So 500 lights for round 3 at Britain. And it's lights out and away we go, and it looks like Rocco Walsh has got the starty ones, and he leads into turn 1. Joe Hollis is going to have to tuck in behind. Actually, Brendan Glover going up to third. Sondre having quite a bad start, down to 6. Luckily, the kind of timings, it hasn't glitched, at least not yet, or it doesn't look like it has. Jared Fosbury in the background dropping down maybe to 16th. That could have been a spin. Actually, Adrian Villarreal as well, one of the people in the softs, dropping down, but Rocco Walsh does lead the field away ahead of Joe Hollis, Brandon, Louis Quinlan and Nino in the top 5.
Yeah, the back, I saw what happened, but it's quite hard to explain. I think Terminator might have some bit of a dodgy connection. I think he jumped forward and backwards, which I think it caused Paco Suarez to have a bit of wing damage, so that's why he's going a bit slowly at the minute, but at the back it seems like everything else other than that was okay.
Yeah, always nice to
contact.
I'm not sure where that
big
was.
Crash. I think it was just before they got into maggots between Paco and Vesia. I think he collected Adrian as well. Oh wait, no he didn't, never mind, sorry, that's my timings that are wrong.
Well, at the front, pretty much staying the same, apart from, of course, Sondre Sora dropping down the field. Someone else, wait, is that? No. Okay, no, that's not.
Glitch.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I thought someone in the top 5 had pitted, and I was like, that's interesting. Didn't look like anything major happened up
what's
top.
What's happened to Rocco?
Yeah. So Rocco is still fine. It looks like it's not, but he is definitely still leading this race, ahead of Joe Hollis in the Mercedes still. Of course, that Honda engine is a lot better than it has been in other games, so it can match up to the Merc a decent amount. Of course, the Mercedes engine is still superior, but it's not a disadvantage. And of course, it is the second quickest car. As apparently, it's a Red Bull 1-2, which definitely isn't happening.
I mean, if Paco's managed to get a pit stop in 2 laps, then fair play to him.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much not really anything crazy actually happening. Looks like Louis Quinlan might have a bit of a run on Brandon Glover. He does have DRS as well. Bran has lost DRS to the guys ahead, so it looks like the top two, as we kind of expected, are pulling away from everyone else. But Louis Quinlan now into the final chicane is going to be looking for a move, but it doesn't look like he can do it yet, as he's going to be opening up, or actually I don't think there's DRS here anymore. I think there was on 2019.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's going to close up a lot there, almost touching with the gearbox of Brand, but he's going to stick behind for now. Going on to the back straight here, he's going to need a better exit. Doesn't look like he's really got it as he opens up DRS. Brandon Glover's going to defend to the inside, but again, I don't think he's actually close enough.
I think Brandon's holding up this train, and I think, well, as I've driven on this track quite a lot, I think DRS training is going to be massive here, so maybe Brandon might want to let Louis go and just stay in DRS, but obviously I think that will happen anyway, because Louis is looking very quick in the open free lap.
Yeah, certainly is. We get a nice back shot from Brandon's car, as we would be expecting Louis to be closing in now. As he does, he looks to the inside, but actually he's going to back out of it there. The Alpha Tauri maybe would be looking at a move that's Nino Romanel, and actually might be going into the final chicane, but no, he can't. So Louis Quinlan almost losing out there, losing a position by not going for the move from Brandon. Looks like he got almost close enough, but wasn't quite able to do it, and certainly loses out a little bit to Brandon, so he's going to be happy with that as he continues to lead this train, and everyone pretty much single file down to pretty much around like 10th, I'd say. 10th is kind of like the cutoff there.
And they're basically all in a DRS, well, actually yeah, they're all within the DRS train, other than that, just outside of it. So I would like to point out that the softs for Jared and Adrian haven't worked at all.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Adrian was involved in something early on, so that would be kind of to do with it. But yeah, it doesn't look like they have. Because I mean, you know, they have been involved in a bit of an incident, both of them, and if they were on, well, actually maybe not Jared, but certainly Adrian. If he was on mediums right now, then at least he'd have the luxury of knowing he'd be on a quicker tyre later on in the race, but right now he isn't, as actually Thomas McIver makes a move on Sondre Sorog now, so Sondre dropping down to 7th. Of course, remember, he started up in the 3rd, just behind the top two, who are very much pulling away, as you can see, especially on the track map there, a few corners ahead. So, yeah, and actually Joe, to be fair to him, sticking in the DRS as well. So we could have a proper fight for the lead if he can just close up just a little bit more.
That would be nice. Yeah, I think Sondre made a mistake, because Thomas overtook him very, very early on the straight. So, I mean, it's not looking good for Sondre, which is why I didn't predict him for 3rd, because I know he's not prone to bottling. So, I think he's got a bit of work to do if he wants to get back there. But yeah, I mean, big DRS trains, so hopefully we should see a lot of these fights.
Yeah, and it seems kind of that Louis Quinlan doesn't really want to make this move on Brandon, as he has stuck behind for a while. I would think if he wanted to make it, he would have by now. I'm sure if the opportunity arises that it's just more beneficial that he will, but it seems that maybe he's looking to save a bit more right now instead of actually making the overtake. Of course, he can make it maybe on strategy, maybe he's waiting for an opportunity to undercut Bran, you never know, but at the moment he's not really making the move.
I think Jared's going to make a move here. Yeah, slam dunk with the ERS down into Stowe. Let's see if Jared can, well, I mean, Jared's got to catch quite a bit, but as we've seen, that is a big trade from Bran all the way down to Lewis, so let's see if Jared can catch up to the back of it.
As a little update for the top two, Joe has actually lost DRS, only just though. So we may be able to get it back, especially if maybe, as there you go, he's actually back in the DRS range at least. So going in and out of it, but it seems Rocco does have a bit of a pace advantage right now as Louis Quinlan actually sets a purple sector 2 apparently. Not sure if that's true or not. Or sorry, I should have said sector 1. But yeah, obviously he will have DRS, so it's plausible as he still follows behind Brandon Glover. As you see, he's got about half his battery. Brandon actually has more, so if he is looking to save, it's certainly not working, at least to give him an advantage on Brandon, because Brandon has a lot more to use to defend right now.
Yeah, and the two behind have even more than him, so if he's thinking about just saving, then yeah, he's definitely doing something wrong. He's definitely trying to use it in the wrong areas. But yeah, well, I mean, this could be a boring race, but there's a massive DRS train, and yeah, Thomas McIver at 100% DRS, Nino 92% DRS, Sondre 81. So I mean, as the laps go on, I think we should start to see some of the takes happen.
Yeah, hopefully anyway, as there's really nothing happening with this train as you would think there would be, as Joe has definitely got DRS back following Rocco Walsh pretty much since lap 1, as they stayed the same. No actual overtakes happened for them. As actually, was that a move? No, it wasn't. Nino actually had a look, I think, there going into Brooklands, but he wasn't able to do it. But it seems Nino is getting a little tired of watching the back of a racing point right now, and maybe does want to get a bit of a move on lap 7. Of course, they will be pitting soon, at least around lap 11 I would be expecting, or I think that is kind of generally the pit lap, if I'm not wrong.
I think you can go from, well actually I think you can go from 7 here, but be a bit risky. I think we should start expecting pits stops around lap 9. I think Louis trying to go for the move. Yeah, Brand defends the inside. Yeah, I think Brand's just done that nicely. Louis still got the button on, so he's gonna go down the inside. Oh,
very
contact.
risky there. He saw a gap and went for it, but it wasn't quite enough for him to be able to be on the inside, and he's gonna have to stick behind. Nino Romanello now is actually gonna try it down the inside. Of course, turn 1 is gonna be flat, as we really don't get a great angle at all on this fight, but Nino is gonna still be trying it into turn 4, as actually Louis Quinlan dives it, very much dives it down the inside of Brandon Glover. Brandon Glover is off the track somewhere as he rejoins. He gets a 10-second time penalty for it. That may be investigated, you never know, but now the two of them go through, and by the two of them, that doesn't even include Louis Quinlan there, as he's dropped to 9th. Now all of a sudden Nino Romanello is leading the train. It did look like he wanted to make some moves, so he gets what he wants. Thomas McIver also up into P4, and Sondre recovers some positions to P5.
Oh, and Louis Quinlan spun. Yeah, very naive from Louis. I mean, silly. Give Bran wing damage, which unfortunately
and
Bran.
also Ferrari there, Ollie Flavel goes up the inside of Brandon Glover, so from bad to worse really, as Brandon was leading this train up in 4th, now down in 9th.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think maybe he didn't, maybe he just outbraked himself, but it's a shame from Louis, as he's destroyed Bran's race. But yeah, like, Packers was an incident, I think, but yeah, I think Brand's going to give Jared DRS.
Oh, actually, as we see, Sondre Sorhog is actually looking to undercut the guys ahead of him. That's Thomas McIver and Nino he's looking to undercut, as he's someone who's kind of triggered the pit stops. Brandon Glover also in, with Jared Fosbury following behind as well. Everyone else has obviously stayed out, so maybe this is maybe it's a bad call from them. Certainly a good call from Sondre to go for it. The tyres can certainly make it, so maybe they're going to be a little bit worried, maybe going to be turning up their engines a little bit. It seems Nino certainly has, as he's almost broken his DRS with Thomas MacGyver as well, as Matthew Walder closes up in what is now P5, but of course not a net P5 because a few people have pit as they're coming out of the pits now through turn 4 they are, and it may also actually allow Brandon Glover to catch up a little bit, or actually has he had damage? He's down 19th
yeah, he
now.
had wing damage. Yeah, he had wing damage when Louis died into turn 3, so
maybe not then.
unfortunate for Brand, yeah.
But certainly we should keep an eye on what Nino will be doing now. Will he do a few fast laps, or is this going to be his in-lap? Of course, we'll see in a few moments as he comes out of Stowe, and he is going to be in the pits. And
So
yeah,
it's
pretty
not
much
the
everyone
over.
following behind.
Yeah.
Actually, Thomas MacGyver staying out, interestingly. The top 2 staying out as well, but that's really a good choice by them, because by them staying out, if there's a safety car, then they'll be fine. If there's a safety car and they have already pitted, they'll still be fine, because they'll have a few extra laps of advantage on some people, as now people like Matthew Walder, Lewis Curtis also in, as Tom Jewell in what is the... I'm not completely sure, that's a Haas, so
Yeah.
he's going to be coming out of the pit lane now in 10th, actually ahead of Matthew Walder. Is he pit yet? He hasn't. I thought he was in pits. Well then.
I just have to point out, Sondra is bottled it once again. I think he bottled it just at the exit, just at the exit of Beckett's, and he's now down with Brandon actually, so maybe a fight between those in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, of course, if you look at quali, at least their pace was certainly similar, so with no one else to kind of interfere, then if Brandon can close up at least, of course there's a 2.1 second gap, maybe we could be seeing some fighting, as Matthew Walder has now come out in 12th behind Nino. Nino, of course, pit on the same lap. There's 1.7 seconds between them at the moment. That's Thomas MacGyver in the pits now. Actually, the top 2 have also decided to pit. They should come out in the same order as, yeah, they will. Rocco Walsh just ahead.
Oh, I just realised Thomas is going to get held because of Joe actually pitted. So there's a little hold from the Mercedes pit crew.
Oh, and he was also... Yeah, he was... Oh, Hartz as well. Well, that's... Maybe he deserves it. I don't know. Yeah, of course, he was kind of in the train for what was a net P4, and getting held by his teammates certainly isn't going to help out there, as Ollie Favell goes through as well.
He spun out the pits.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
He has. Wing damage as well.
Oh, awful lap for, well, half a lap for Thomas.
And there's Sondre as well, so one I'm sure he wouldn't have been expecting to see given his bottle, and also Brandon with the wing damage is going to be making a move on him soon as well. As actually, wait, I should have actually been watching the... Wait, why is it? There we go. The top guys, or at least the leaders of this race, are making moves. It looks like Rocco Walsh has recently cleared Luke Baker. Luke Baker now under pressure from Joe Hollis, but crucially, Rocco has put a car in between himself and Joe, and of course, in the first stint at least, they were following in DRS of each other. So now, if Joe gets held up a little bit, it could be an opportunity for Rocco to start trying to make some gains, as Ollie Favell goes down the inside of Matthew Walder, so he's going to be up into 10th, so looks like his race is actually working out quite well, as he was, I think, at the back of the train initially, so he's making his way back up, which is nice to see, as Joe Hollis does indeed clear Luke Baker, and he's actually 1.5 seconds behind Rocco Walsh, so it's really how much will Rocco get held up by Lewis, or will he clear him quick enough that Joe Hollis will actually lose even more time? You never know. but it is kind of it's a bit of an art form, really, clearing the slower cars, and it can gain you a lot, and right now it's working out for Rocco.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, well, thankfully for Rocco, I think Lewis's positioning is, it looks like he's going to overtake him on the straight, and then obviously that leaves Joe quite vulnerable with Lewis, because he's going to probably do the first entire sector with him. Being in front, behind Lewis, sorry. So
yeah, and it doesn't look like Lewis is going to fight this too much either, as he pulls to the left-hand side of the track and moves back. Yeah, he's just trying to not lose as much time as he can. Of course, he did start on the medium, so he's going to be making this time back later. There's no point fighting the guys who are pit stop ahead of you, and very sensible driving, really, from Lewis Wasman, as now Joe Hollis closes up to the back of him as well, so it'll be interesting to see how quickly Joe Hollis can clear him. Now maybe he might be going for a move into turn 4 as we'll go on board with him. He's not actually going to be close enough, so he's going to have to stick behind a little bit longer, certainly longer than Joe Hollis would like, as he sees Rocco Walsh pulling away a little bit. As he gets into the slipstream, he's going to open up DRS in a few moments, and he's going to look to the inside, and he's going to be making the move now, as he actually kind of nice camera shot for once there, when it switches it up, and he goes down the inside of Lewis and up into what is 5th place, of course, in that P2, and he did actually gain a little bit from how quickly he cleared Lewis Wasman, so maybe not too bad. 1.3 seconds roughly the gap, before it was 1.5.
Yeah, but I think maybe for Joe the same might be about to happen. Rocco's closing in on Tim at quite a rapid rate, and obviously not having been stopped right behind Rocco means that Joe might actually lose out. Yeah, Tim's going to let Rocco through, so yeah, I think he should probably do the same with Joe, but still quite annoying for Joe to have 30 for the first sector.
Yeah, it'll really depend. Maybe he can make a move into turn 4. Well, actually, maybe not. It'll really depend on how the engine modes between the two are working out, but that is a little bit too much of a gap, so he's going to have to make it going into Brooklands, I'm sure, as he is going to be closing up a lot through the first sector. Again, Rocco Walsh is going to be pulling away a little bit, but then actually getting held up by Shane next. So it's really going to be interesting to see how it works out after they pass all these cars, as Lewis does. Actually, sorry, I'd said Lewis, I should have said Tim. Goes to the left hand side, and again lets Joe Hollis through. Sensible as well from him, not trying to lose any time to people actually like Lewis Wasman, who's 2.2 seconds behind. That is kind of his competition at the moment, so he is going to be looking to stay ahead of him as much as he can, as Rocco Walsh closes up to the back of Shane. Shane and Erminator actually going for the lead of this race right now. Certainly looks like they are fighting, as Shane closes up maybe a little bit. Actually, doesn't look like it was the best exit, but Rocco Walsh isn't going to be closing up early enough, and it looks like he might be caught up a little bit in the fight for the lead, which maybe Shane could actually be making a move soon on Erminator, which I'm sure for Rocco Walsh's case is not going to be something he likes, as we see from behind us. Actually, Shane makes a little bit of a mistake. This could allow Rocco maybe to make a move into turn 4. I'm sure we'll see, of course, as Shane actually closes up a little bit to Erminator going through turns 1 and 2. Of course, flat out there, as Shane again has a little bit of a correction there, so it looks like maybe the stability of his car is a little bit off, but Shane is going to be closing up once again. He's going to have DRS as well, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep Rocco Walsh behind through this, as he is actually closing up. He might be going down the inside. He is going down the inside for Brooklands, and it looks like he's going to take the lead away from Erminator side by side. Of course, Rocco Walsh is going to have to follow behind this. He is the net leader of this race, hopefully for his sake. Actually, he makes it maybe a double overtake here, as a little bit of contact as well. It doesn't look like he got damaged, luckily, but it could have been very bad for him, as now Joe Hollis closes up a lot too, as he goes a little bit wide though. So looks like Rocco Walsh is going to go around the outside of Shane. Contact. Shane has a little bit of contact there. No damage for Rocco as far as I can see. I'm not sure about Shane though, as Erminator is certainly going to get past now is, yeah, Rocco Walsh is also going to have the inside line, so certain move down the inside of Stowe for him.
Wing
And
damage
Joe
to
Hollis, yeah, Shane, I thought he did have wing damage and he is going to pit now. Of course, luckily for him, it was around when he was going to pit anyway, at least. He was probably going to go a few more laps, but it's not the worst time to get damage, certainly, as Rocco Walsh now retakes the lead of this race. Joe Hollis in third. He's going to have to make it move on Terminator soon, at least. And of course, once he makes the move, he's not going to be having DRS on Rocco Walsh, I don't think, as he comes through turn 5. So we'll go on board with him. I'm sure he's going to be making a move now with the Merc engine, but actually no, he's not, as he's going to have to stick behind for at least the start of Sector 2.
I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure Luke might have a puncture. No, maybe he doesn't. It looked very weird though. Yeah, no, he does have a
Hollis
puncture.
down the inside of Terminator, and he makes the move pretty simply into Cops, and he's now retaken his second place in this race, 1.1 seconds separating himself on Rocco Walsh. I should have mentioned, Joe Hollis actually has a penalty I've seen now. So Rocco Walsh certainly in the driving seat. Is actually Terminator's going to try and fight Joe Hollis a little bit going into Stowe. He wasn't able to make a move, but looks like he was looking for a move there. Certainly wouldn't have gained in time, but as now actually Tom Jewell getting passed by Matthew Alder. Matthew on the outside, it should be an easy move, but actually he's going to keep fighting this Tom Jewell. He's going to be on the outside, going to have the inside for next corner, and actually, well, Matthew Alder makes sure that doesn't happen. He squeezes him out, and actually Tom Jewell he's off the track there and loses a position to Ollie Flavel. And I swear Ollie Flavel was ahead of Matthew Alder, so it seems Matthew Alder was able to make a move back on him, and it is putting him in net P4 right now.
Yeah, there was a big kerfuffle. I think when I said Luke Baker had a puncture, something happened with him. It looked as if his car got reset in the middle of the corner. But yeah, I think that was, well, I mean, that added a lot of spice into Matthew Alder's and Ollie Flavel's battle. And then I think Tom Jewell just got away of Ollie, considering they both teammates. And I think Tom wants to hold up Ollie too much. Well, actually, it's Lewis. It's just made a move down the inside.
I still have to find... Oh, well, there it is. Yeah, Lewis down the inside of Tom Jewell, and he's going to make the move. The AlphaTauri of Jared Fosbury is also going to be looking for a move, maybe, as Tom Jewell tries to come back at Lewis. He's not going to be successful, as Jared surely gets a warning. I seen him cut quite significantly there, so that's not going to help his cause, as he already has at least one pen. But yeah, Tom Jewell losing out to Lewis Curtis now as Lewis puts himself up into P6. But for how much longer though, as Tom Jewell tries it down the inside, but he's not able to make a move stick there, and he's going to have to stick behind for a little bit longer there, as Ollie Flavel actually closing back up to Matthew Alder. Of course, we did see him make a move earlier on as Joe's in. Joe Wallace is in. Or is he? Oh no, he's not.
No.
Oh, different Merc. Never mind. Oh, I was looking at the track map and I was like, Rocco Walsh is up there and there's a Merc in the pits. Like, what? But no, it's fine. Joe Hollis is 1.2 seconds away, so he's no problems for him at the moment. As wait, is it? Oh, is Tom Jewell like that? Wait, or is that? Oh no, that's someone getting lapped. That's Fezier. Never mind.
I was about to say he shouldn't be because he's having a battle with Jared. It is losing him time, but yeah, he's battling with him.
Yeah, and someone actually I should mention, Nino Romanello, looking very comfortable really in third place right now. He was in this train in the first stint, but after the pit stops he's made a 7-second gap on the guys behind, so he's actually done very nicely for himself to get a P3, and it looks like really, if you're not Rocco or Joe, P3 is kind of a little win for yourself, kind of, and he has it excuse me, he has it very secure right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we just expected these two to run away. Oh, I think Baker's retired.
Virtual safety
virtual.
car.
That could have been big if it was an actual safety car. I think, where's he crashed? Has he crashed coming out of cops?
It looks like he has, yeah.
Actually, I think people, yeah, Tom's decided to take this moment to come into the pits. Actually, I think other than him, it'd be very silly for anyone else to come in. But, yeah, a lot of action the past couple of laps, so we can finally take a breather. Oh, never mind. Oh, Thomas McIver's race is going from bad to worse. Drive-through penalty for him.
Yeah, and he's actually 19th, so very much last, and it's not going to help him at all.
Terminator's just spun. I think cold tyres caught him off, and he's just spun.
Yeah, it seems it. Of course, Shane, before the pit stops, was following closely to him, and once again they find themselves on the same part of track, so maybe a fight again between the Renault and McLaren drivers, or at least for today. But I should actually say Ollie Flava's making a move on, or has made a move on Matthew Walder there, as it looks like there was a momentary full course caution, but I'm not sure why. Oh, safety car!
Oh, safety car!
Full safety car!
Yeah, I think Thomas McIver's crashed out. He looks between the Magus Beckett's and Chapel Era, and yeah, well, I mean, that must have triggered the safety car. There's nothing else that could have. Oh, yeah, Shane retires. It's a safety car.
Well then,
what?
In the pit lane, while there's a safety car.
Okay, well, I didn't expect that, but yeah, so this is massive for the soft runners.
Yeah, actually, that's a very, very good point. And of course, the top two, they should be able to pit and be fine. They may lose a position to Nino, but like, even if they were running second and third, once they exited the pit lane, they're going to be so much quicker. Like, I'd say it would still be worth it. Nino, yeah. I'm not sure if he would pit. I don't think he'd give up what would be a lead if the top two pit, and the rest would probably lose positions. It's kind of like do I or don't I, but yeah, in go the top two for softs, I'm sure, to the end. You know, Romanello going to be coming around Stowe, so we'll see what he does in a few moments.
It does spice it up though if Nino doesn't pit, which, yeah, oh no, he's not.
Oh, it looked like he thought about it, but he decided not to. Ollie Flavel is going to be next with Matthew all behind him. Ollie Flavel is actually going to come into the pits, and Matthew out. It seems very split if you're going to be pitting or not right now.
Nino's taking the lead.
Yeah, Lewis and Jared in. Brandon's also going to be in. Matthew Walder is going to inherit a P4, it looks like. Maybe actually a P2. Yeah, he is actually going to inherit a P2, so they've lost out 2 positions. Of course, now they're softs to the end, and the people behind them, Sondre Sorog also staying out. Lewis Curtis is getting his softs on to the end, so yeah, it seems some people thinking about track position, others thinking about the quicker tyre. It's going to be very interesting which is the better strategy, but as most people have picked the softs, it looks like the mediums. The medium runners aren't going to be too happy seeing what has happened.
I think Nino, whatever he did, would have probably got back in the third. But I mean, as you see, I think Ollie, Lewis, Jared, they've got a bit of traffic in Lewis and Tim on the soft, so that is a bit of a problem for them, as those softs are barely any old.
There's something as well that I should mention. Really, it's kind of course, the top two, I would expect Rocco and Joe to clear Matthew and Nino pretty quickly, or you would expect it at least, being on the softs compared to those old mediums. But since Tim and Sondre both have penalties, it's going to be between Nino and Matthew really for the race lead. It's going to be Lewis and Ollie who has to pass them to grab a podium, as long as they don't get pens themselves. So just given how much overtaking would have to happen for them to lose P3 and P4 between them, kind of seems like the top two are running for the last podium place.
Yeah, I mean, none of them have actually. Maybe, I think...
Maybe second.
This has been tactical for Matthew and Nino, because everyone else, well, Joe, Sondre and Tim have all got pens. So I think maybe Matthew and Nino have decided if they can somehow hold them up a bit, and then if they get away from them, if they can just stay within 3 seconds, because there's not a lot of laps left, maybe they can grab themselves a podium.
Yeah, and of course as well, Lewis and Tim will be under pressure from the guys behind, because their softs are quite a bit older compared to a fresh soft. Of course, there's like 5 and 6 laps difference. So in that sense as well, it's really like, I don't really think Lewis is going to be able to go through and pass the top two. So it's really up to people like Ollie and Lewis without the pens. So it's like, can they get from 8th and 9th up to what would be 3rd and 4th? And it's like, maybe, but there's not that many laps left. So it does kind of look like Nino and Matthew are in a good place right now.
Yeah, obviously. Well, I mean, especially for the drivers behind, because like Joe has a pen, but then Sondre's got a pen, but is on mediums. Tim's got a pen, is on softs, and then
older
obviously
softs
like
as well.
Ollie and Jared, they've got to get through Tim and Lewis, but the softs, the older softs aren't going to be that much slower than the fresher softs. So very well thought about by Matthew and Nino.
Yeah, as it looks like the safety car now is in, so it's all up to Nino when he wants to go, whether it be out of Stowe or out of the final corner, maybe right at the line, you never know. It's all up to him as he slows the grid down. Matthew Walder is going to be waiting to pounce as he still weaves to try and get those tyre temps up. So it seems maybe he didn't get them as warm as maybe he would have wanted, as he's still weaving. But it actually, there you go, it looks like he has gone, but it didn't necessarily catch Matthew Walder out, as he still is very much with him. Rocco Walsh and Joe Hollis as well, remember, both on fresh softs, and of course there's kind of the blockade of Sondre and Tim behind, who are going to have to hold up some people, especially with their pens. So down the inside, actually, I should say, for Rocco Walsh on Matthew Alder, already trying to make a move. Nino Romanello isn't going to be too upset about that, because really they are going for a realistic P2. So Matthew Alder is going to be trying maybe to get a move back on him. Joe Hollis is now going around the outside as he sets a purple sector 1, as you would expect, one of the first guys on the softs, as he goes really right up onto the grass almost, as he tries to overtake Matthew Alder, but he does get it done. So Matthew Alder has been cleared by, really you would say, the two leaders of this race, who have been leading most of this race in a 1-2 Rocco ahead of Joe Hollis as they come through Maggots and Beckett's now. So Nino is next, but he has got two cars, of course, between himself and Matthew, so maybe a little bit of time to play with there as well, as Rocco Walsh is going to go on the outside. Don't forget as well, if Rocco Walsh gets a late penalty, maybe you could be looking at Nino and Matthew maybe going for this win as well. It just depends on how much time the two guys in front can get away, as Joe Hollis didn't actually get on the inside there, as it looks like Brandon and Jared are going at it. Jared is on the outside, he's going to have the inside for the next corner. I think this is Brandon trying to make the move right now, as he's on the outside. He can't make it work. He's using all of his ERS almost there, as he's lost quite a bit from the start of the safety car, as he's going to try and go down the inside for turn 4. A little bit of a touch actually, and Jared Fosbury drifts off the track. He luckily doesn't for his sake, lose too much time. But now Jared Fosbury under pressure a bit from Paco Suarez, and actually Ollie Flavel out all of a sudden. There's a Red Bull out there as well. That's Paco Suarez. I don't even know what happened there. I didn't have a great angle on it. If you know.
I was on the off-board cam with Paco, and then all of a sudden I see Ollie hit the wall. Massive crash. I don't even know what's happened.
Yeah, as I just saw Joe Hollis trying to make a move on Nino, but he wasn't able to make it work. Matthew Walder has lost 1.5 seconds to Nino and Joe, so it seems Nino certainly does have the pace over Matthew Walder to make a bit of a gap. As Sondre Sorag, actually, the two teammates, remember, fighting for this P4, so Sondre does want this. He doesn't really care that, like, maybe Matthew might be the quicker driver. He has actually put himself up into P4. He does also have a penalty, remember, but fair play to Sondre, though, making a move on Matthew and putting himself up into P4. Of course, 2.5 seconds away from the guys up a little bit, fighting for the podium, but a nice move.
Yeah, I think maybe they've tried to swap it, see if Sondre can start pull Matthew a bit ahead. Did I just see Tom got disqualified?
I'm not sure. But
yeah,
he does actually. He is disqualified. There's now a Ferrari going down the inside. That's Tim trying to make the move on Matthew Walder. Matthew doesn't have any damage or anything. This is purely just pace. Of course, the Williams won't be helping out at all in terms of him trying to defend his position. As Sondre kind of goes a little bit out into the distance. Of course, Matthew without a pen, so that is going to help him out anyway. But the Ferrari and, of course, the Alfa Romeo both closing up. Both of them with a pen, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, Nino's got a pen, so...
actually, a little bit of a touch. I'm sorry, Lewis Curtis touched the gearbox there of Tim Brusains, and now he's going to look to the inside. Both of them on softs. Of course, Lewis with the better softs at the moment. He's going to be on the outside for the next corner. He's going to have the inside for really what would be more crucial, and it looks like he should be able to make this move, or you'd expect him to, but actually Tim holds it around the outside, and he's going to keep P6 for now. Both of them with pens, but Lewis isn't giving up though. He's still trying to go down the inside through turn 1 and 2. He's going to be looking at a move down the inside for turn 3. Very, very close. Tim almost cuts him off there. He gives him just enough space, and Lewis luckily doesn't go spinning around. So Tim really looks like he kind of calculated that to give him just enough space that he wouldn't spin, but he keeps his position now. Is actually now Tim down the inside of Matthew Walder. Of course, it's softs versus mediums, and he is going to go up into P5 and give him a little bit of a cushion to Lewis Curtis now, who's going to be looking for a move. I'm sure he'll make the move as well on softs. He's going to be looking to the inside. Matthew Walder is going to hang it in there, and he's going to be able to stay in front for now, but still though you can see the grip difference, I'm sure, as well through Maggots and Beckett's. Rocco Walsh is, it looks like he's going to be coming through for the win, but I will stay on board with this though, as Lewis Curtis closes up even more to Matthew Walder into Stowe. I'm sure there's going to be making a move here, as actually kind of equal there in terms of DRS, so he's not going to be able to make a move. I will switch over to Rocco Walsh, who is going to cross the line, and he is going to take the win in Britain here. No penalties either. Joe takes P2 with Nino in P3. Nino did actually pick up a pen in the end there, so he wasn't able to pick up a P2. Sondre is going to cross the line in P4, but he's going to lose out on penalties quite a bit there. And Matthew and Lewis promoting himself up into 4th and 5th.
Lewis Vossman went down the inside on the last, literally the last corner. He must have saved a lot of overtake, but yeah, he went down the inside of Lewis. And I think actually that managed to catapult him a few positions.
Well, I don't think he had any penalties though, or maybe he didn't have as much as other people. I mean, we didn't necessarily actually have a look at it, but I guess we'll see at the end.
Well, I mean, it was still a good move. I really didn't expect that, because yeah, Matthew and Lewis were battling, and all of a sudden,
as they're
down the inside.
as there's Terminator doing a few donuts? Or
Yeah.
yeah. Alright. I mean, everyone else is finished, so he's not going to affect anyone, so it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It
As he
was
spins
quite
across the
weird.
line.
I should have pointed out. As the safety car come in, Terminator actually pitted. He didn't have wing damage though, but yeah, he pitted. So a bit weird.
Driver there goes to Lewis Wassman. And to be fair, I would agree with that. I would have given it to Nino if he didn't get that last pent, though, if he got a second.
Yeah.
But there you go, the Rocco Walsh is going to spray the champagne. He does take the win in Britain, and I'm pretty sure that's your third different winner. Of course, FP does tend to get a lot of different winners, so Rocco Walsh takes the top step today.
Yeah, I think, as we expected, Lewis Rocco and Joe obviously pulled quite a gap, and then the safety car didn't help them, but we expected those two to be at the top.
Yeah, and obviously Nino rounding out the podium places. Matthew Alder does improve. He almost got the position I said he'd finish in, but it is going to be fourth for him today. Lewis Wasman finishes in fifth, Sondre sixth, Lewis Curtis in seventh, Timber Staines in eighth. Adrian was not a great start, but he did recover up into ninth. Brandon 10th, of course, after the earlier wing damage. And then it's Jared, Louis, Erminator, Paco, Ollie, Shane, Thomas, Luke, Vezier, and Tom Jewell. Of course, 16th through 19th DNFs and a DSQ for Tom Jewell.
Do you want me to get them in?
I guess we can both try. I'll get Rocco and Nino if that's alright then. So that should be all of them then.
I think Joe's already here.
Okay.
Yeah.
He is indeed, so we'll wait for the race winner then, or maybe start from third to first with Nino if he doesn't join straight away.
I think, yeah. Rocco is in, so just gotta wait for him to join.
He's joining now. Okay, so that's everyone, and I can also hear them. So then we'll start with you then, Rocco, of course, the race winner. I wouldn't really say there's all that much to talk about. Maybe the safety car restart is probably the highlight of your race, because the rest really just kind of led.
Yeah, to be honest, I got a bit nervous when that safety car came out because I thought like how long it was going to stay out for, but thankfully it came in I think lap 22, so I had 4 or 5 laps to overtake Matthew and Nino. And to be honest, it was just the whole race was about just not getting penalties or making mistakes, and that's what I did.
Yeah, and of course, Joe Hollis also got a penalty a little early on, so I'm sure that kind of helped. But yeah, there's really not all that much else to say. Of course, you just kind of led most of the race, really just kind of dominated it from start to finish, really, with no pens either. So, I'm not completely sure what the next track is. I'm gonna check unless someone knows. But
I believe it's
I
Hungary,
can.
I think.
Yes.
it is Hungary,
no.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So obviously, you did win the race, so it's not going to give you quite as good a car as the Red Bull. But how do you go around Hungary?
I don't know. I think last season I did alright at it. It's just a track I'm alright at, so it's. I guess I'll just be looking to try and get a point or two. That's my goal.
And of course, without having the Williams, at least I wouldn't think you'd have the Williams, given the first two races for you. I don't think were too amazing, so should be easier than last season.
I hope so.
Yeah. So yeah, of course, congratulations on the win and good luck for next week anyway.
Thank you.
And then Cameron, I'll let you take Joe then.
So, Joe, P2 today, how do you feel the race went?
It was alright till I got the penalty and the safety car came out. But
Hey, was there any moments in the race where you felt like maybe trying to drain your ERS and overtake Rocco was the best bit or best part even, or did you think just sticking in the DRS with him was the best option?
there were moments where I was getting close to him on the back straight, so come down to was it Stowe, I think it is, where I got extremely close, but I decided to stay behind, not take any risks, and just try finish.
So, did you worry about the safety car as well? It looked like you struggled to get past Nino a bit.
I will be honest, I feel like that almost ruined my race completely, because obviously I had the 3-second penalty, and there was Matthew and Nino who didn't have any penalties at the time, so I had to bolt it, but still worked out in the end.
Yeah, I think luckily Nino had a pen as well for your sake. Anyway, next week is Hungary. How are you around Hungary?
It depends on the car I'm in, but usually I'm not the best on there. So, yeah.
Well, I don't think you should be in that bad of a car, so... But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Thank you. Unless Kevin has any other questions, obviously.
No, you pretty much covered it. So, yeah, that would lead on to Nino then, who I'm sure, especially given the first kind of stint of the race, maybe wasn't looking so amazing, but then once the pit stops kind of evened out, you found yourself quite comfortably in P3.
Yeah, I was caught behind Bran and Louis for most of the first stint. The Renault and the Mercedes engine, we with the Hondas. Hard to overtake, obviously, third man in a train as well. So I just stuck behind, saved ERS, and they had the collision, so I lost a lot of time through that as well. And then after the pit stops, I found myself in P3, and just tried to gap Matthew and Ollie, which I did. So yeah, the first stint was okay, but yeah, the second stint was definitely better.
And one thing that I do want to ask, because it kind of seemed, at least from our perspective, that you were looking a little bit punchy, but when you were following behind Brandon and Louis Quinlan, were you like kind of sitting behind waiting for an opportunity, or were you looking like to make the move now and try and gap them? Because it did seem that you were trying to get close.
Yeah, for the first part I was just sit behind, see if you can just stay with them, and then I saw that I was quite quick at the first sector, so I just tried to, if the opportunity presented itself, I probably would have gone for the move, but it didn't. So yeah, if it did present itself, I probably would have gone for the move. Yeah.
And of course, in the end, you got a P3. A late warning, though, it seemed, because you kind of had the P2 in your grasp. So, were you a bit under pressure at the end?
I feel like that warning will get removed. I felt like I got forced off. That's where I got the warning.
Oh, okay.
When I felt as if I got forced off, and that's where the warning came. So I feel like the warning will get removed, and I feel like I could get P2, but you know, it's the steward's decision. But I feel like, I feel like I should have. I was entitled to a bit more room than that.
Okay, so big words there then. Of course, next week being Hungary, third shouldn't put you down too much in terms of car, but how do you think you'll run there?
I'm not great around Hungary, not gonna lie, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I wasn't expecting much from today, and I got a P3 and maybe a P2, so yeah, you know, anything can happen, so I'm looking forward to it.
Alright then, congratulations on your P3, maybe P2, and good luck for next week.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Cameron. Thanks, Kate.
That will, of course, round out the stream then. So that has been IRL FP here at round 3 for Britain. And of course, I was joined by Cameron once again. So seems like a duo you might be seeing quite a bit, unless Cameron gets to drive, because he is meant to be a reserve, but it's just not been lucky with actually getting a seat to drive. But of course, yeah, as I said, that has been FP, brought to you by me and Cameron, and hopefully you tune in this weekend. Of course, F1 seems very close, especially with Lewis Curtis maybe seeming to have signs to be able to challenge Matthew Walder, and of course the midfield is certainly very close, so look out for that, and of course next week on Wednesday. So join us then, and apart from that, good night.